Next on Worcester News Tonight, it's been 25 years since Holly Piirainen's body was found in Brimfield. Tonight we hear from family who are still looking for answers. Plus, 2 vacant lots in Worcester will soon become new homes, thanks to the hard work of young construction workers. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. This month marks 25 years since the body of Holly Piirainen was found. The 10-year-old was vacationing in Sturbridge and one day never returned home. Nobody was ever charged with Holly's murder. Her family, though, is still looking for answers. Our Cam Jandro sat down with her grandmother today. He has the story.
You wouldn't think that something like this could happen in a small town like Sturbridge or to somebody from a small town like Grafton.
For Maureen Lemieux, it doesn't feel like 25 years since she lost her granddaughter, Holly Piirainen.
It's hard to believe, she was 10 years old and she would be 35 years old now. And, I just can't imagine, what things would be like.
Holly was reported missing in August of 1993 when her family was vacationing in Sturbridge. Her body was found on October 23rd. She was 7 miles away in Brimfield, and nobody has ever been charged.
We've had several people speak to the police, and we have several persons of interest, but somebody who knows something has to come forward.
Lemieux, looking at a photo of Holly Thursday, remembers her granddaughter's love of the water.
She wanted to be a marine biologist. She was a good swimmer. She loved being out in Sturbridge on the water.
After all these years, Holly's family wants closure to her case and doesn't want the public to forget about her. They have set up a tip campaign in hopes of getting more information and will be holding a vigil Sunday.
We just felt that this is the time we want to do something and see if we can stir up, a little more interest and get somebody to come forward. Somebody knows what happened and they just need to let the police know.
Now, the tip campaign will begin this Sunday at 12 noon and go until 6 p.m. The vigil will then start at 6 and go for about an hour or so. Both events will take place at the Sturbridge Host Hotel. Cam Jandro, Worcester News Tonight.
The Boys and Girls Club of Worcester hosting an event, Design My Future Wednesday. Its purpose is to give parents and their children first-hand knowledge into STEM careers. Representatives from organizations were on hand to explain how their jobs involve STEM, and college representatives were there to explain the schooling path involved to get there. Executive Director Liz Hamilton says it's important for kids of all ages to see how many different STEM careers are out there.
We have everything from a chocolatier who uses science to be able to make the chocolate. And we also have doctors, we have an occupational therapist, an EMT, we have IT. So pretty much any type of STEM career that's possible, it's here today.
Tonight was the Boys and Girls Club first annual Design My Future event. Eliminating the stigma around mental health. It's the goal behind the Shine Initiative's annual Keep Your Mind Open Gala. Hundreds filled Mechanics Hall to hear Tanya Brown share her story. Brown lost her sister as well as her 2 best friends as a result of mental health issues. According to Shine, more than 60 million Americans likely experience some form of a mental disorder. Thursday, the goal was making mental health a normal topic of conversation.
The day and leave pride out the front door. Just listen to the story. Let's grab hands, let's hold hands and just make this stuff has got to stop.
For too long we've ignored mental health, and when we say the words mental health, people immediately think mental illness. The reality is we all have a brain, we all have mental health, and it's important that we understand that, accept that, nurture it, protect it.
The Shine Initiative estimates roughly 1 in 10 children between the ages of 5 and 16 live with a diagnosable mental health issue. The town of Oxford receives a grant to help rebuild infrastructure in the center of town. Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito presented a $2.5 million MassWorks grant to Oxford town officials Thursday. The money will go towards much-needed renovations to Main Street and Harwood Street. Polito says the renovations will not only be beneficial now, but also for future generations.
Being able to stay in this area because there's good jobs for them to work at and be part of their community, a place that they grew up in that someday they'll lay their own roots and grow their own family. That's why we show up and do this work.
Polito says they've been able to award $275 million in their administration's time through the MassWorks program, impacting 138 projects in 108 communities throughout the state. A celebration held in Worcester tonight aims to raise awareness of the need for priests as well as support for retired priests. Bishop Robert McManus says during tonight's 5th annual Preisthood Gala, they're trying to encourage more men to learn about priesthood and recognize the contribution priests have made in their lives. They're also raising money for retired priests, who they support. According to the Diocese of Worcester, priests' retirement care has been cited in recent financial reports to be one of their biggest challenges.
I think we have 62 retired priests. It's very costly. So this is a type of gathering. This is the 5th year we've done it, where we might raise $250,000 goes toward helping our priests retire.
Last year's gala raised more than $191,000 for retired priests. Worcester's 3rd dog park is officially open for furry guests and their owners. The park, located at the intersection of Green Street and Foster Street, features a new fence and sign, double entrance for dog safety, dog disposal bags, and benches. Rob Antonelli, Assistant Commissioner of Parks and Recreation, says dog parks were the center of discussion when the city did the open space plan required by Massachusetts.
Was talked about in every single meeting for dog parks. And so this way we ended up doing a full master plan on dog parks citywide, identifying locations, and this was one of the locations that we chose.
Antonelli says there's currently no plan or no money put aside for a 4th dog park, but there is a list of potential land options and we'll be looking at it as part of the fiscal 2020 budget. A Worcester man is being held without bail this week after a dangerousness hearing in Superior Court. Prosecutors say Juan Ajario was shot 3 times by a store clerk during an attempted robbery at No Name Grocery 2 on Vernon Street. The 26-year-old walked into the store earlier this year carrying a large hunting knife. He approached a customer, put the knife to her neck, and demanded money. This week, a judge said he poses a danger to society. It's been a difficult few months for a Central Massachusetts family. The daughter is sick and receiving care in Maryland. Her mom is staying with her, but her dad, a Barre police officer, says in order to support his family, he needs to come home every week to work. Our Brittany Schaefer has more on the family story.
This video was taken before Charlotte's disease took over. The 19-month-old is now paralyzed from the neck down.
She was completely limp, which is not like her. She's usually very happy and spunky and will smile at you and say hi, and something like this just overnight definitely shocked us big time.
Charlotte was diagnosed with acute transverse myelitis in July. Her dad, Trevor McNeil, says the rare disease attacks the body and spinal cord.
Unfortunately, hers just attacked a little more ferocious than normal. And it actually took away tissue from her spine, which is why she's still paralyzed from the neck down.
McNeil is a police officer in Barre. He was just settling into a new home with his family, but now Charlotte is at a rehabilitation center in Maryland with her mother by her side. McNeil says he flies down to see them every week on his days off. Barre Police Chief John Carbone says the department is rallying behind McNeil in this tough time.
It's a tight group of officers. They do whatever they can to help. From the administrative standpoint, we do whatever we can to help. We know that he needs some accommodations, and it could be regarding overtime or shift work, or just simply support, just emotional support while he's here. And so if he needs it, we try to do it.
McNeil says while the disease has been a tough battle, Charlotte is still always smiling.
I'll come in and she'll pucker up like she wants a kiss from me, and I'll go over there to give her a kiss and she'll just start laughing. So she'll trick me. We just want her to stay happy. We want to give her the best life possible. Like I said, she's still able to find ways to have fun, and that's huge.
Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
That disease is uncurable and Charlotte will most likely never be able to walk. But doctors say the mother and daughter should be able to return home for Christmas, which is a big deal for the family. Moving on now, a Paxton pastor and local author completes her 2nd book. Jane Willen says the sequel to her first book centers around a mystery-solving duo who are trying to find a murderer. The book, called The Hour of Death, focuses around a murder in a church in Wales. Reverend Willen says she's always been passionate about writing, but it was a workshop that helped her write her first book.
I'm very happy at this church. This is an awesome church. And I think being happy in my job just made me able to write. You know, it freed up my mind. And also, this is a church that is a faith community living deliberately. So I think they did inspire me a little bit, at least.
Willen is hosting a book signing Sunday, October 21st at the First Congregational Church in Paxton. She hopes to publish the third book in the series next year. Known for illegal activity and dumping, a vacant lot in Worcester is set to get a facelift. As our Gretchen LaRosa explains, several Worcester organizations are working together to build 2 new homes in the area.
For Melanie Toro, being able to provide homes for others has a special meaning to her.
Well, I'm kind of currently in a shelter, so homelessness is definitely a big, huge topic for me.
Thursday, Worcester YouthBuild and other organizations broke ground on construction of 2 new homes in Worcester. The project aims to create jobs for young people like Melanie, provide affordable housing, and promote a safer community.
We got some big signature projects that everybody's talking about and seeing happening in downtown and other parts of the city, but you need neighborhoods to be strong. You need places for people who visit those buildings and work in those buildings to come home to.
Worcester YouthBuild is partnering with Worcester Common Ground and St. Gobain. They will build environmentally friendly homes from the ground up. The 16 to 24-year-old workers come from at-risk communities or low-income households.
It's a huge thing for me to see the young people come in and we give them some skills and they just take off and they realize the potential that they have.
This is the first time the group is building a completely energy-efficient home. St. Gobain will provide funding, building material donations, and building expertise. Melanie and her fellow YouthBuild workers are familiar with this neighborhood. They recently finished a 4-unit apartment building nearby.
It means a lot to know that I've been through challenges and I'm still going through it to help someone else out.
I think small little neighborhoods like this need a lot of attention and a lot of focus. And I think it's very important to have the community youth be a central part of that reconstruction.
The new homes will also provide its residents with a space to garden and relax with family and neighbors. Both structures are expected to be completed by early next summer. Gretchen LaRosa, Worcester News Tonight.